Hey guys, before I get this going, just let me start off by saying you have no idea how much I appreciate the feedback to these vids, and I'd like to thank all of you who subscribe. Lets me know I'm not wasting my time with these vids. Now then, with all the mushy stuff out of the way, it's time to go into our next topic. I'm going to take a chance and enter some real dangerous territory with this one. Today's topic is the hatred of the Xbox and why it really exists. Now, some of you may be wondering why a PS3 fan such as myself seems like he's defending the Xbox. While it may come off that way, I'm actually trying to do what may be impossible. I want the PS3 fanbase to lose the bad reputation it has on this site as a group of people who spend more time complaining about the competition instead of simply enjoying the PS3. And what better way to start than first finding out where the real hatred of the Xbox 360 comes from? So let's get down to it. Now, to find the reasoning for this hatred, first we need to know what people who are fans of the PS3 are complaining about. Right off the bat, you guys are thinking of the same exact thing I'm thinking of: Red Ring of Death and pay to play online. Now, the first thing I want to bring up is the pay to play online. I hear all the time that Microsoft forces their customers to pay yearly to play online. But I have a question for us PS3 guys. Is Microsoft forcing them to pay yearly to play, or are they simply choosing to pay yearly to play? Remember guys, before Microsoft can force them to pay for online, they have to first force them to buy a 360, which they're not doing. But imagine someone saying that the evil corporation known as Microsoft is forcing people to buy 360s. They'd get laughed at because it sounds foolish. And that's how we sound. It would be one thing if on the Xbox it said free online, then when you try to connect it says, just kidding, $60, cough it up. But that isn't the case here. So then what is the real reason for us to make up such a foolish statement? Could it possibly be because if we make the real statement, it makes the PS3 look bad? You're probably wondering what I'm talking about. Well, what if a PS3 fan actually said people are choosing to get an Xbox 360 and pay for online rather than get a PS3 and play for free? That sounds very negative, doesn't it? That sounds like an insult to the PS3, and I'm sure if you're a PS3 fan, the last thing you want to do is insult it. So the best we can really come up with is Microsoft forces people to pay for online. And while that comment prevents the PS3 from being insulted, in turn it insults you for making such a foolish statement. And if you're insulting yourself, why in the world would people listen to anything you have to say? They wouldn't. They would just laugh at you. Is that really the image we want as PS3 fans? I know that some of you can't be helped, but the rest of you are intelligent people. So let's start showing people that we're more than just a group of complainers. Now, the most famous complaint about the Xbox 360 is the well-known Red Ring of Death, and this complaint I can understand. However, the problem is that this goes back to me saying Microsoft isn't forcing people to buy Xbox 360s. Do you know what that means? It means Microsoft also isn't forcing people to buy replacement 360s the same way when some of us whose PS3's yellow light of doom on us, Sony didn't force us to get another PS3. It was our choice. But imagine a fan of the Xbox 360 telling us that Sony is forcing people to buy new PS3s. You guys would have a field day with that, and for very good reason. It's a foolish thing to say. We all know that the consoles this gen have a chance to fail on us. We also know that the 360 has the greatest chance, and we've been spouting the same stuff over and over again, yet people are still buying them. So guys, maybe, just maybe, they don't care. So if we're to try to get people to buy PS3s, we should spend less time telling them about online fees and Red Ring of Deaths and start telling them about the good aspects of the PS3. We also have to be careful with arguments like people who play Xbox are stupid. Yes, this argument would have worked in elementary school, but now that's just another thing to make us all look foolish. So when we try and explain why Xbox isn't our thing, let's try and stay away from that kind of stuff. Yes, I know some people can't help themselves, but the rest of us, we're better than that. When you're talking about the PS3, you want to talk more about the games. There's really no use in telling them that we have Blu-ray or we have an online browser or free online, because they already know that. In fact, they've known that since the beginning, and repeating the same thing over and over doesn't really change anything. It really kind of makes us sound desperate. And I don't want the PS3 community to be seen that way. Tell people about what games we currently have that aren't AA or AAA. Remember, places like Metacritic are still opinions. A person who hates shooters may give a game like Killzone 2 a 50, while a person who's obsessed with them would give it a 95. So don't worry about Metacritic and IGN. If we want people to start supporting Sony, then we need to let them know that there are good games out there that are getting low scores only because the reviewer may just not be interested in that particular genre. Now hold on, Xbox fans, because I'm not letting you off the hook on this one. Why? Because you're on the same boat as us. Now this goes to gamers of all three consoles. We have to be very careful when we brag about certain games we have. The more we brag about them, the more other games in our library get ignored. Xbox fans, do you know why PS3 and Wii fans say that all you have is Halo and Gears? It's simple, because those are the only games you brag about. Now this puts the fault on you. While you're all bragging about Halo and Gears, all of the other games being made for the Xbox get ignored, and people who buy Xboxes buy them with only Halo and Gears in mind. You guys have way more games than that. It's time to start showing it. Otherwise, the argument of Xbox has no games will soon be true to a lot of people looking for a new gaming experience on the Xbox. Now, while I said all of this, the main question still isn't answered. What is the real reasoning for hating the Xbox as much as some of us do? It's one thing to just simply not be interested, but some people make the Xbox sound like the spawn of Satan. You want to know what I think? Maybe we feel so strongly towards winning this console war this gen that we'll resort to anything to win it. But you know what, guys? It's not really helping us. It's only making us look worse. Remember when the gaming companies used to insult each other? You notice how they kind of stopped? Could it possibly be because we're doing their job for them? Just something to think about. So remember, guys, all of this complaining that we're doing about everyone's console only makes us look foolish. We have to show the young generation what gaming is really all about, and we can't do that if we start acting just like them. It's bad enough we have idiots out there saying that gaming is ruining children. Do you really want them to start saying video games are also ruining adults? Because once they start doing that, we're pretty much screwed.